Back to the KOM Morning News on this Wildcat Wednesday. Tyler Johnson joins us from the Wildcat Extension District. Tyler, straight back from a trip from D.C. And before we get into some upcoming changes as far as nutrition, and you're going to introduce us and talk a little bit technology, explain exactly what you were doing in D.C.
So in D.C., we had the annual Expanded Food and Nutrition Education Program update. So there were representatives from the USDA, the NIFA, the National Institute of Food and Agriculture. There were representatives from most of the states and some of the territories like the U.S. Virgin Islands.
And you were explaining to me how the USDA came out with nutritional guidelines in 2015 that takes us into 2020. So we're about to revamp those. And I know you don't have a whole lot of specifics, but if I ask you coming out of this conference, what are some of the changes as a consumer that I think that I'm going to be exposed to from a USDA menu sort of initiative?
I think that a lot of it is going to be very similar, but they are going to focus more on, well, they focused on health last time, and that's going to continue to be the emphasis moving forward. So continue to look for similar guidelines, but probably a reduction in sodium. Some of the main contributors to health issues.
So no drastic changes, but if you were to take that and translate it, what you learned in D.C. specifically into the Wildcat District, how do you think that's going to change your patients' lives?
Well, the USDA guidelines are always trying to help people live healthier lives. I will say that very few, if any, people actually meet those guidelines. They are a set thing. I know I don't meet them, but the more they do it, they try to inch it closer to healthier living. So trying to reduce hypertension, diabetes, things like that, the chronic health issues that are becoming big problems.
And granted, this was set back in 2015. We know technology exponentially grows with each and every day, if not every year. So you say that the USDA wants to implement new technology into this realm beginning in 2020. What changes do you anticipate seeing and being able to utilize?
So as far as the Expanded Food and Nutrition Education Program, which is the program that I work with, they are talking about ways to use technology to make it easier for people to take some of our classes that qualify and not necessarily have to worry about transportation issues or childcare or whatever to be physically at every class. We still want a lot of face-to-face interaction, but they're trying to use technology to open up that a little bit more. And in addition, also after the classes are done, they will then have a resource they can go back to.
If I was to put you on the spot, from the Wildcat Extension perspective, do you have that technology in place? Is the infrastructure there to be able to utilize that for your patients?
We do have a lot of technology in place right now, but as it attaches to the Expanded Food and Nutrition Education Program, it's not fully complete. That's because the FNIP program, the Expanded Food and Nutrition Program, is kind of a separate entity. It's run by the USDA, and so we link to their site through the Kansas State site, and so having more resources available will definitely help.
FNEP is the acronym, and the acronym that we use. As you look forward to your program throughout the Wildcat Extension District and the USDA, what do we have coming up this spring?
Coming up this spring, well, first of all, I am hiring for some nutrition
So I heard.
assistant. Yes, so I'm hiring for a nutrition assistant to get some more program going. This new nutrition assistant will be based primarily in Crawford County. I'm hoping to bring more on after that. If you're interested, go to Kansas State University and go to their careers page. look for the nutrition assistant in Crawford County.
And if I'm interested in making sure that my diet stays healthy, if I want to make sure my kids are healthy, or perhaps if I have a relative or loved one suffering from hypertension or diabetes and I want to culture that menu, how do I get in touch with you?
T.A. Johnson, Johnson, 120 at ksu.edu, or give the Wildcat District a phone call and any of the numbers that you see on the TV, and just ask for Tyler Johnson or the FNIP office.
And don't forget, if you have an interest in working with the Wildcat Extension District, Tyler telling us about that information, go to K-State's careers page right there. And let's all try to make the 4 states a healthier place. Tyler, I know that you're working toward that goal. Hey, I want to welcome you back from D.C., my man.
Thank you very much.
And it's a little bit of a running joke. Tyler actually had a trip getting out of the 4 states and getting back without any weather concerns.
Yes.
We'll be back with more KOAM Morning News for you right after this.